Good afternoon. I want to thank those in attendance today as we discuss our plans for addressing the public safety issue of ATVs and dirt bikes in Cranston, Providence, and other cities and towns in the greater Providence area. The Providence Police Department has been addressing this issue for more than a few years now. They've been successful in seizing over 250 of these illegally operated vehicles. Despite the valiant efforts of the Providence Police Department, neighboring cities and towns to include Cranston are experiencing the same dangerous and reckless activity. Many of our residents, rightfully so, are fed up and are fearful of being struck by these riders who typically operate with complete disregard for public safety. Colonel Clemens and I are in regular contact about mutual public safety concerns. We enjoy a great working relationship which extends to the officers in our respective departments. We met yesterday along with Mayor Hopkins, Mayor Elorza, and Commissioner Parry to share ideas on how we can combat this public safety issue head-on and in a collaborative manner. Today we are announcing we are forming an ATV dirt bike task force that will include officers from our department working side by side in both our respective cities by utilizing mutual aid agreements that are already in place. While we cannot share all of the tactics we plan on employing, I will say that they will be creative, and our plan will involve multiple units, divisions, and assets. By working together, we are that much stronger. We will be sharing both intelligence, physical resources, and personnel. I have also been in contact with Colonel Manny of the Rhode Island State Police, who without hesitation offered to supply any and all resources he has at his disposal. Additionally, myself and Colonel Clemens have been in contact with police chiefs from various neighboring cities and towns, and we hope to expand the task force to include those departments. They too are experiencing this dangerous and illegal activity on their state highways and city streets. With the warmer months upon us, we know we will see an increase in this activity, and we will fully be prepared to address it. Our goal is to remove these vehicles and operators who break the law safely. I am confident that by working together and armed with new and expanded city ordinances, we will be able to remove these dangerous vehicles from our streets and allow law-abiding citizens to travel safely. I will now invite Colonel Hugh Clemens, Chief of the Providence Police Department, to come forward to offer his remarks.
Thank you, Colonel Winquist. Yeah, this is pretty much a reiteration of what we spoke about the other day, but as well, we've met and I've spoken a couple of times now to Colonel Winquist since our last session. We work very closely with our neighboring partners. Myself and Mike Winquist have had a great working relationship over the years. We're looking to ramp up some efforts in a coordinated, collaborative fashion with our local law enforcement partners. I can tell you I've had reach outs from other neighboring communities. This is a rolling phenomena going on in this state right now, where it quickly crosses in the city of Providence district to district, and then as well it quickly crosses bordering town and city lines. So I've spoken to those neighboring police chiefs. There's a lot of support to prevent the reckless, lawless activity. Now let it be known, there is a lot of law-abiding bike riders, and we're good with that. But there has been some horrific, reckless, lawless activity that we simply cannot tolerate. Last week we put out some resources to address it on a warm day. We will continue as we anticipate groups to be large in riding, and we will continue to address it. Last week when we did it, I believe it was Thursday, there were 13 bikes seized for this reckless behavior and reckless activity. And we will continue. We will not tolerate or allow this activity to continue. It's dangerous to the public. Our phones ring off the hook when they're out there in certain neighborhoods. So I think this is important to coordinate with our neighboring partners, and I think the mayors want to address some other issues we're looking to collaborate on. At this point, I'll introduce the mayor of Cranston, Ken Hopkins.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you to Mayor Elorza, Colonel Winquist, Colonel Clements, Commissioner Parry, and all the members of the media for joining us today. Over the past few years, we have seen an overwhelming increase in the illegal use of ATVs, dirt bikes, and other types of recreational type vehicles on our city streets. Our citizens and our police have observed reckless abuse of these vehicles in and around our neighborhoods. Cranston police have seen an overwhelming number of complaints from the Cranston residents regarding this illegal activity. The operators of these vehicles have been a threat both to the well-being and the general public of the men and women of the Cranston Police Department. In a recent incident, Cranston police were assaulted while responding to an incident involving over 30 illegal ATVs. In response to this, I issued an executive order on March 3rd requesting that any service station licensed to the City of Cranston refuse the service of fuel to these illegal vehicles. In addition, I have ordered strict enforcement of related city motor vehicle ordinances. This behavior will not, and I repeat, will not be tolerated by the City of Cranston. We are proud to partner with Mayor Elorza and the City of Providence on the effort to crack down on the use of these illegal vehicles. Following a productive and encouraging meeting between both cities, our tremendous police departments are collaborating on innovative law enforcement strategies and tactics. To that end, Colonels Winquist and Clements have developed a mutual law enforcement initiative. Now, the one thing I can't add to this is I have changed my position on what we're going to do once we confiscate these vehicles. I have my staff working with the colonel from the police department in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. We have made an agreement with that police department to have all of these confiscated vehicles shipped to the Dominican Republic for their use in their police department. So again, I will not be destroying these vehicles once complicated. We will be shipping them to the Dominican Republic for the use by their police department in Santo Domingo. At this point, I'd like to introduce my good friend, the Mayor of Providence, Jorge Elorza. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Chiefs. I appreciate your ongoing efforts here, and I particularly want to recognize Mayor Hopkins' partnership as we work jointly on something that's been a concern in both of our communities. Just as we're seeing with the pandemic, this is another example of how interconnected we all are. The reality is that no one is safe unless all of us are safe. And this challenge with the ATVs and the reckless and the illegal and the dangerous use of them is one that easily shifts from one city to the next, goes in and out of city borders. And so it makes a lot of sense for us to coordinate to the extent possible to make sure that we're working together to make sure we keep our streets safe. So we're all interconnected, and we're going to work together to keep all of our residents safe. As you just heard from the mayor and from the police chiefs, we're starting with these two neighboring cities, but we've also received a lot of interest and there have been a lot of conversations with other cities. So as we work through this relationship and this partnership, we also want to work with other cities and towns because we all have a joint interest. We all have the exact same interest, and that's making sure that our roads are safe for everyone involved. And so we're going to be working together to address this from every different angle. What you have heard today is this task force that's being developed by our police departments to work together on enforcement. But that's just one of the angles, a very tremendously important angle, but there are many other aspects to this as well. It's not just the riders that are out there, but it's also everyone that enables those riders to be out there. So looking at gas stations, looking at sellers, looking at the organizers, and looking at the owners of these vehicles. There's a lot of different approaches that we can take, and it's one of these matters where there is no one simple solution. It's one of these issues where you have to attack it, using every tool in the toolbox, and that's our commitment. Of course, as we see the weather start to turn and, us heading into spring, we do anticipate that, there are going to be a lot of folks that are going to be much more sort of willing to be out there, given that it's warmer rather than the dead of winter. Well, we want to get ahead of this and let folks know that please do not come out onto our streets. We cannot and we will not tolerate this behavior that continues to create dangerous situations for our residents and our motorists throughout the city. So please do not come to Providence, do not come to Cranston, do not come onto our streets unless you're using your vehicles legally and safely. So I will pause there and I'll open it up for questions for any one of us.
So what are the specifics?
Yeah.
You said you couldn't get into any details, but what's different? Is this related to like pursuits when you're going from one city to the other? Or?
Yeah. So I'll let the police chiefs talk about the partnership and what they're working together to put together the task force.
So yes, as it pertains to policy and pursuits, in our policy it clearly identifies as it relates to ATVs, there will be no pursuits. However, we have the ability to stop vehicles that are breaking the law and that are lawless, and when it creates a circumstance where it's unsafe for anyone, we drop back from that attempt to stop the vehicle. But it's clearly stated in many policies around the country for police departments, do not pursue these type vehicles, ATVs, dirt bikes, for the reason of their name, all-terrain vehicles. They can go up on sidewalks. It poses a huge public safety risk to the individuals on the bikes, more so to the community, for everyone involved in that circumstance. So no, we're not looking to ramp up pursuits. We're looking to do what we've done in the past, where we've seized over 250, and that's pretty much to monitor their activity, follow these bikes where we can, with safety involved and discretion involved, attempt to stop and seize these vehicles and cite operators who have acted lawlessly when they're either moving slowly or they're stopped. That is the intent. I'm sorry?
Can you foresee broadening this task force to include other cities in town?
Yes, we have memorandums of understanding with all of our surrounding municipalities and mutual aid, which is identified in state law. So as Colonel Winquist identified, yes, we plan on extending this. They've reached out to me, they've reached out to Colonel Winquist. So
is there a memorandum here between the two cities?
yes, yes,
Can we get a copy of that?
yes, you have it, right?
Colonel, are you expecting spike strips or more advanced weapons? I mean, how far does this go as far as what you're able to tell?
So yes, we do have some strategies behind the scenes, but no, we're not going to release exactly what they are. And but to that, we're not going to speak specifically to strategies we have. We've talked about many things. It's reached a further pitch, no question about it. Our phones ring off the hook in just about every neighborhood in this city, and so we're looking to get ahead of it before the warm weather breaks and get a handle on it. I'm sorry, you had one more question, sir. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so as far as pursuits go, because obviously we've seen issues with that in the past, are there new rules being put in place with this task force, specifically to prevent any issues with zones?
No, there's been no change in our policy, and but we're not looking to pursue these vehicles going forward.
But you will if you have to.
Depending, and it depends on the circumstance. In the case of Cranston, when a firearm was brandished and there were attempts to circle police officers, yeah, depending on the crime committed, there would be a picked up response as to how you would pursue that vehicle. Yes, you may want to pursue a vehicle that you know has a firearm that could cause a greater public safety risk. John?
But no safety precautions in place.
Correct.
So you're not going to pursue them, chase them, but you're going to follow them. So if
Correct.
you get a report that there's 20 bikes, Providence police will then start following them, but not chasing them. But then don't they, ramp up their speed so that suddenly, in order for the officer to pursue them, they have to ramp up their speed?
They're very difficult to get and capture. So yes, they do that, and we try to capture them when they peel off, when they're going a safe speed, or when they're stopped. and that's how we've been able to get up to 200 plus. Last week on Thursday, we got 13 in one day. And again, I mean, if these bikes are operating legally, they're registered, they have a license, they're operating within the bounds of the law, there are no issues. When they're violating every single law you can think of, that's when there's an issue.
We asked Mayor Elorza.
There's no place to ride. Have you guys considered opening up an allocated zone?
I have a question for Mayor Hopkins.
Sure, Ronaldo.
The major city of Providence is a flip-flop. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Okay.
The major city of Providence is a flip-flop. At first, he want to legalize all those criminals. Got the back in the street. The city of Cranston is doing a great job. Why they change their mind for the mayor of Providence to have an alliance with you? Yeah, don't laugh about it, because you're a flip-flopper. That's what you do. You say something to the press, and next week you change your mind. He changed his mind.
Oh,
You
Ron-
want this legalized. You went hard hands in the city of Cranston. One change for the city of Cranston to be a partner with the city of Providence.
I think to address a problem like this, it takes all of us. It's not just me, it's not just Cranston. If it's in Providence and it's in Cranston, it's going to take a collaborative effort to do this. Not just one city is going to be able to fix it. We need more than one. We're going to need the entire state of Rhode Island to pitch in to help this. This is our first attempt to be collaborative, to work together, to get our police chiefs together on the same page, Mayor Elorza and myself, to work on this issue so that we can make sure that it's not a danger to the people.
Mayor, where are they going to go with
We are in the process of talking to the colonel of the police force in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. They have accepted our proposal. We're just working on the details on how to ship them over there, and they will in turn pay for the shipping.
Mayor Elorza, have you chosen either there or some other country to ship bikes to that you get in Providence?
So we're looking at it. What we've done up until this point is we've been destroying them to make sure that they don't find their way back into circulation. But we're open to that idea, and so if they can be put to good use somewhere else, and there's assurances that they're not going to find their way back into the city, we're open to that.
We'll hold you that promise, sir.
All right,
The damage
sounds
is
good.
already done. How about that parking lot over there? Since Carlino let you guys use this property, why doesn't he allow Bike Life Lives Matter or other organizations to lease that facility since it's been closed for 7 months, 7 years? And why doesn't he allow us to ride there? We've done it before, safely, secured. We had police escorted us. And why can't we do that again? Why can't we use that parking lot and show you that we know how to actually follow the laws and stay within the boundaries of that parking lot? Why have you not looked at alternatives as in finding an allocated zone? Why is police forcing your only policy and your only solution? Why is enforcement your only solution?
So as I mentioned, so enforcement is one part of the solution, and we're also looking at all of the enablers as well, looking at gas stations, we're looking at sellers, we're looking at organizers, and we're working with leaders in the rider community right now to identify some other solutions as well. So, this is something that needs to be addressed from every single angle, and that's how we're going to solve this. There is no easy solution to it. We have to work together. So we're working with leaders in the rider community, Jeremy, and you should connect with them. And we want to find creative solutions. Any other questions?